Well, hi there. Welcome to the show. I'm really glad you stopped by tonight. We have a really good, I think we have a really good show. Our guest tonight, it's actually a funny story about our guest, I'll tell you. About a week ago, I was on my way home. I stopped at the video store and picked up a video. You know, I haven't got on the DVD bandwagon yet, so I still have the VHS thing. So I haven't actually seen a movie that's come out since 1999, I think. But I got Clerks out, and I watched it. I love the movie, you know, the amateur Kevin Smith thing. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could find some clerks for the show? So I went online and looked for clerks in Santa Cruz County, and it turns out we have a county clerk. So Gail Pellerin is the county clerk, and I thought it would be fun, so I asked her to come on the show. She agreed. Then I did a little more research. It turns out she's not that kind of clerk. She's actually really important and a lot smarter than Dante and Randall. But she's here, so I'm a little bit nervous. But Kim Luke's here. We're going to have some fun. And Greg Archer's sneaking backstage in the dressing rooms at Cabaret. Stick around. We'll be right back. Gail Pellerin is here, the county clerk. Now, you don't work at a 7-Eleven. You're a different kind of clerk.
Not today.
Not today. Thank you so much you have a massive and awesome job. You are oversees so much of
I've got the best job in the county.
Do you really?
I do.
You love
I
your
do.
job?
It's fun. It's great. We're busy all the time. We are knee deep in elections. We just had a little election yesterday with the Pajaro Valley Water Management Agency, and next Tuesday we got the 15th state Senate. Today filing closed for candidates running in November, so it's a lot of balls there. Are we having
more elections? Are we having elections with more frequency than we have? It seems like every week there's another election.
Right. Well, a lot of them are due because these special vacancies and you know, with the term limits and people running a lot. So you know, there's just a lot of elections that are being called out of the blue, which I had some issues with when the governor called the June 22nd and August 17th election. That was not a good timing for us, and it's costing us.
And he didn't check with
hundreds
you first?
of thousands. He did not check with me, and he did not respond to my email. And you know, I think he thinks he's still in Hollywood, where he's cued the election and it's going to happen right away. So we were scrambling, and unfortunately, there were some military and overseas voters that were disenfranchised because we just can't turn. You know, we didn't even have the election set till after the deadline to file or send them their ballots. So
I have an idea to make it much more efficient.
Okay.
I know some people don't like the whole idea of electronic voting, but if you think about like the technology YouTube, Pandora uses, right? Once I've voted a certain amount of times, you can kind of guess who I'm going to vote for, right? So like based on my voting record, you can just kind of assume my vote, so I don't have to go. And
well, and I'm pretty fair and impartial. I think I could just decide.
Right.
Right. And
or you could at least do like the Amazon thing where people who voted for Prop 8 also like Sam
if you
Blakely,
liked
you could
this
just
candidate, you might like this candidate.
Right.
No, that's not a lot of constitutional changes there. That's not the law. So we're going to have to stick with what we got. And right now we got an election next Tuesday. We want people to get out and vote, and if they're eligible.
Right. So next Tuesday is the runoff election.
Yep.
And this is the 15th district.
15th state Senate.
State Senate district. We have a picture of that because there's a lot of question about where the district is. Ryan, do we have that map? So a lot of people in the city of Santa Cruz aren't in the district. Has this district changed?
Yeah, well, you know, redistricting, that's a whole other show for you. But certainly in the 90s, all of Santa Cruz County was in one Senate district, and it was Senate District 15. And then with the next redistricting, they split it down this middle here, and it's a real funky district going all the way south to Santa Barbara. Takes in a piece of Santa Barbara County. 5 counties are involved in this election. So, and of course now we're on to another redistricting occurring, you know, next year. So all this can change. And I think where the voter confusion came in was that we have John Laird on the ballot, and he was the former assembly member from the 27th Assembly District, which are different, you know, so they may have been in his district as an assembly, but not in this Maldonado seat that was vacated.
Is the state Senate, is that the only thing on the election on the ballot next week?
And you know, and I have to say it's even more confusing because it's a complete repeat of June 22nd. Because the way special vacancies work is the top vote getter in each political party appears on the runoff ballot, but we only had one in each party. And so we're having, the only thing I changed on the ballot was the date, and the word primary turned to general, and
it just gives them a little more time to spend money.
So I think voters are going to think we've gone crazy, but
it sounds pretty efficient financially, really.
Yeah. It's.
Oh wait,
it's the governor's idea.
No, it doesn't.
Repeat of So we need to change the laws. We've got a lot of work to do, and.
Right. Speaking of changing the laws, marriages, you do marriage license there. Some big news this week, Prop 8 declared unconstitutional. Do you have a sense what's going on with that? You have performed a number of marriages locally.
I was on my BlackBerry looking. I know.
Right.
It's exciting. I mean, Santa Cruz County, myself, I've been a huge advocate for marriage equality. Back in June 2008, when we had same-sex marriages, it was the best day of my life. Right. It was really fabulous. Lots of community support, and so many loving couples have been waiting decades to tie the knot. And then of course November 2008, then it was Prop 8 passed. So we've been in this waiting mode. And,
right.
So it was great, Judge Walker's decision, and the work the attorneys did, fantastic, and the decision's been stayed. So I'm hearing tomorrow at noon he's going to make a decision on that stay, and could go to an appellate court. We could be in another waiting mode, but we're ready to start issuing and doing weddings as soon as we get a green light.
So tomorrow at noon he could make a declaration saying, okay, go get married.
That's what I hear.
And he could, and maybe more likely, I don't know, do you have a sense of, who knows, right, till we hear?
Yeah.
It could be, now we wait till it's appealed, or we don't really know.
We don't know what he's going to say, and we don't know the status of the appeals. And my guess is that when we do get a green light, it's going to be very clear that it's a go.
Yeah.
And I don't want to issue somebody a license that's not going to be valid.
Sure.
So we want to make sure that when our couples come in, that it's going to be a valid license, it's going to be a legal wedding, and it's going to stick just like they did in 2008.
Right. And all of the marriages that happened in 2008 are recognized
valid
in the state.
And recognized in the state of California.
Right.
I mean, we need to get 50 states involved. We need to get it nationwide, so couples going from one state to another are equally recognized.
Right. Let me ask you this, because you do voting, you do marriage, you do a number of things, and Santa Cruz is, I think we fairly have a reputation here. There's a number of people who dance to the beat of a different
drum circle.
I think more of a theremin. People dance to the beat of I don't know what. But what's the weirdest thing you've experienced in this position over there?
That's pretty fun. We actually had, speaking of weddings, we actually had a wedding one year when we did our Valentine's Day weddings, and we had everybody come in costume. And everybody showed up in the bride was in a costume, the groom, all the party folks were in a costume. We've had candidates show up in costume, a bunny outfit one time when a candidate came in and filed in a bunny costume. So I love dressing up. So I dress up during poll worker training classes, putting on different hats. So it's always fun for me to see people put on a show. Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun. What kind of costumes?
Well, there was an airline stewardess, and I think an animal of some kind, and army.
Did you ever have Rosie the Riveter show up for?
Yes, yes. Great.
There might be a future for me in an elected position.
Yes, yes.
Right. It's exciting. You're just going election after election after election. We'll just keep visiting you every week down at the county building and casting our votes. How many people do you have, how many people does it take to put on an election?
Well, see, that's the thing. I have to plan and spend taxpayer money based on 100% turnout. And I really believe there's no excuse not to vote. It is simple, easy. You can vote from home. We'll mail you a ballot. You can come in early. We're open this weekend, Saturday, both in Santa Cruz and Watsonville City Hall for voting 9 to 5. No excuse not to vote. So if you're registered in the 15th State Senate, get out and vote. And it takes an army. I mean, it takes, we are lucky to have fabulous poll workers who come year after year to help us out in the polls. Our extended county family show up and help us every election. So we're very fortunate that when there's an election time, all hands are on deck, and that's why we have such great success.
You know what I think you should do? When people turn in their ballots, you should correct them. You should just look them and say, yeah, no, I'm sorry, that's wrong.
That's secret.
Oh, it's secret, you don't look at it?
I look at yours.
You do look at mine. How am I doing?
And are you registered just as Chip?
I am. I'm registered as Chip.
Like Cher and just
Charo. No, Cher's a little taller than me and has more tattoos.
But just one name. Well, there was a rodent, too. We used to have a rodent.
It's true.
And he was on the ballot.
Did he show up in costume?
No, but he did show up. Yeah.
So, he wasn't the bunny?
But no, we really, secrecy of ballots is, constitutional requirement. We take it very seriously. We do not, I don't even look at my husband's ballot.
How do you know if he's getting it right?
It's up to him. It's his vote.
I'm glad Gail is here because something you don't know about me is I run the elections for the Santa Cruz Derby Girls. But something different about the way we do things. First of all, my title is Election Bitch.
Mm-hmm. I've been called that too.
Official. And
you need a name tag.
Yeah. That. Well, we get a T-shirt. Everything's about T-shirts and booty shorts. And I look at every ballot, every single ballot.
Right.
And
if they're wrong,
and I do correct something.
So how
we'd love for you to come and help us at the elections department, but we won't let you look at people's ballots.
No, it's my way.
Yeah,
Election bitch does it.
Then we'll have to have you helping at the counter.
If people do want to help for the elections, how do they get involved? They can go to your website?
Call us, 454-2060. Go to our website, votescount.com. Easy to remember. Send us an email. And definitely we've got that August 17th election, 11 polling sites set up. And turnout's not so great in special elections, so I'm really wanting to push, if you're registered on the 15th, get out and vote. Either vote this weekend or come in on Tuesday, the 17th, and vote at your polling site. November 2nd, right around the corner. It's going to be here before we know it, and make sure people get out and vote then. Lots of important issues. Got a governor you're electing, and local contests, and that, few propositions that might interest people here in Santa Cruz.
Gail, thank you so much for being here. It's been a treat and learned a lot. SOATV.org. Join us next time. Cabrillo Music Festival's in full swing. They've been doing a whole bunch of great stuff downtown. I went to some of the free stuff and brought a camera with me. So enjoy it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.